let's talk about the prospect that is on everybody's mind now. Bryce Eldridge had a slow start to the season. I believe he had a hand injury of some sort.
Yes.
And he played very well at AA. They moved him up to AAA. I don't think he's hit in 2 weeks. He's struggling a little bit in AAA right now, but he is the one that everyone has circled as, okay, we don't want to see this guy go. We're keeping first base warm for him. They had hoped that maybe Lamont Wade could handle that for another year. Did not happen. He got moved out. So do you see Bryce as somebody who possibly comes up this year and helps this team, or are we looking at now that they did trade for Devers, that you don't have to put as much pressure on him to come up and help this year's club, and maybe we are looking more to next year at some point?
So essentially, every time I come on this podcast, which you have me on like once or twice a year, I just gush about Bryce Eldridge for 5 minutes. So let's do that again. Yeah, so Bryce Eldridge is one of the best hitting prospects in the entire minor leagues. You can make a cogent argument that bat alone, he is the best prospect left in the minor leagues. The defense, first base is a struggle for him, which is a little surprising to me. He is a really good athlete. He was drafted as a two-way player. And I think conceptually, when he gave up pitching, a lot of people thought he was going to end up in the outfield. And instead, he really couldn't do anything in the outfield. And even these are like footwork problems for him at first base. His footwork is a little bit rough. It would not like super shock me if it ended up being Devers at first and Eldridge at DH long-term. Teams are really hesitant to make guys in their early 20s DHs full-time for kind of obvious reasons. So they're probably going to try not to do that. But first base has been a struggle for him. If I recall correctly, they had Will Clark go out to one of the affiliates he was playing at to try and work on his first base defense with him. Like, they've been sending people out to work on his defense. None of that will matter if he hits like we think he'll hit. So Bryce Eldridge is built like a NFL edge rusher. He's 6'7", and he's a big, athletic, strong dude. And he hits baseballs very, very far. Very, very, very far. And, incredible bat speed for his size, because at the size we're talking about, this is like a near Aaron Judge sized individual. That's like how big we're talking about. You're just going to swing and miss a lot. There's just too much of the strike zone to cover. You're swinging very fast with a long swing. Given his size, he has really good barrel dexterity. He's really good at aiming the barrel within the strike zone, getting the barrel towards the ball in a positive way, which, going back to our Devers discussion earlier, that manifests in contact rates that are mediocre, which is perfectly fine given how hard he hits the ball, right? He is consistently has posted average exit velocities at the top of the minor leagues in the 93 to 94 mile an hour range at ages 18 to 20. Players gain exit velocity as they get older up until age 24, 25. So if a guy is averaging 93, 94 miles an hour at age 19, at age 20, you can reasonably expect him to be at the top of the league, up there with the Deverses and the Otanis, and not the Judges, because nobody's up there with Judge.
He's
O'Neal Cruz, Junior Caminero, like the top of the league exit velocity guys. You can expect continued growth into that. And he's got, for his skill set, he's got pretty good bat to ball. And the guys who combine being able to do this amount of damage to the baseball with having a decent enough hit tool often just become offensive stars. Like a pretty good case offensive production, he might put up seasons that look a lot like Rafael Devers seasons, right? Like that's the type of offensive upside that we're talking about with him. And yeah, he's been terrible for 2 weeks at AAA. He's running a 160 BABIP, which is just, it happens. It's a short sample size. Like his underlying batted ball metrics are absolutely fine in that time period. Just sometimes players have a bad week or two. It's nothing to freak out about. In his AAA sample this year, he's had an 82.3% in zone contact rate, which is about league average, a little bit below, as we discussed before. His average exit velocity is 93.4, which is among the top numbers at AAA. His plate discipline numbers are well above average, and he's already hit a ball 112 miles an hour in 2 weeks. So yes, he's hitting under the Mendoza line, but it also doesn't mean anything. It's 2 weeks, and all of the underlying numbers are still really awesome. Yeah, he is one of the best offensive prospects left in the minors. The defense, he's probably going to be limited to first base, and he might not be particularly good there. And if he hits, who cares? Because he might hit a ton. He is one of the, Roman Anthony, who we were talking about, who is the top prospect that the Red Sox got called up, was the only guy in the minor leagues that could match like the just enormous demonstrable power upside. Roman Anthony had run a 95 average exit velocity at the same age, which is just astounding. So Anthony could go toe to toe with him in terms of like present demonstrated power, but he was the only guy in the minors that could. There's guys that might have power potential, like a Sebastian Walcott in the Rangers system, but he hasn't really demonstrated on the field yet. His is more youth-based, physical projection-based. Mm-hmm. Eldridge is already there. Eldridge, again, this is a guy who, if you put pads and a jersey on him, you'd think he was playing edge rusher for like Florida, right? Like that's the type of physicality we're talking about. So yeah, he's one of the top offensive prospects. Whether or not he's going to be ready this year, again, he's in AAA. If you're in AAA for a contender and the major league team thinks you can help the major league team, they're going to call you up.
Right.
So I would not be surprised at all to see him by the end of the season. A lot of that's going to depend on how he adjusts to AAA, because now in AAA, you're facing a lot of guys who have major league service time, who can maybe throw a little bit harder than even in AA. But the keys are they can spot a changeup, they can spot a curveball, they can spot a slider. They're going to sequence you much better. A lot of the catchers have major league time, so they're going to put together sequences that you just haven't seen. He's going to face, almost major league quality lefty specialists, which just like isn't something that exists. The guys in A-ball that are lefty relievers are generally not very good, and the guys that are in AAA that are lefty relievers are okay. So based on how he adjusts to AAA, I think that's going to tell whether or not he's in the majors this season. But I think he's definitely on the radar, and I don't think Dominic Smith or Wilmer Flores is going to be a block. So that might be a decision where you take the next 6 weeks, and then at the end of July, you might be in a spot where, okay, we're calling Bryce Eldridge up, or okay, we're trading for Rhys Hoskins right now to play first base. Right. That might be a determination that you can make in a month or a month and a half once you have seen how he's adjusted to left-handed spin at AAA, how he's adjusted to more velocity at AAA. I think he'll be able to make those adjustments. I would not be surprised at all if he's the regular first baseman for the Giants by like September. But it's going to be based on how he adjusts to AAA. I don't think the timing of that promotion, I think, was to give them a couple of months to assess the situation.